Okay, 6:30. Time to start. Ready, guys? Start with a code of conduct item of the week. Don't overpromise or underdeliver. Certainly sometimes a tough balance when there's a lot of demands on us. So just keep it in mind. Try to leave a little caution in there and promise what makes sense. So let's see, we're going to talk about the role of the spotter here in a moment. Oh, and first, we did do a different code number for the go to training. It was actually effective last week. We forgot about it. So I see that some people were logged in. But this is where you find the number if you're out in the field or home or whatever and you want to log in and tune in. You can go to meeting and put in that number and you're here. And we'll see that you're here. There was a list on the side. I see that Stu King's out there. Hey, Stu. Okay, corporate announcements. We have 3 new people this week. Mark Covey, Roger Hall, Joey Sumner. And any of you guys here? Which one are you? Joey, okay. Welcome, Joey. Anybody else? Okay, everybody else is Rygate. Okay. Well, please introduce yourselves to Joey after the meeting. So, Bear Week is still here. I had my pig in the blanket. I'm good. And Labor Day is Monday, a holiday, of course. And we certainly wish everybody a good, safe holiday weekend and enjoy it with your family and friends, doing what you want to do. And also that means with the holiday, it's a short week next week, so we need to get our time cards in, preferably this afternoon if everything is done, the dailies and time cards, and at the latest by Tuesday at 8 a.m. And, of course, as always in the Sunday weekend, make sure all the job sites are secure because sometimes there are people around who are getting in trouble and can tear up our work or vandalize our equipment or break in and steal things. Technical tips. We've been talking about fluid mechanics and pumps. This is just the second one in our series here. And the series covers the hydraulics and pumps. And most of what we do, of course, involves some kind of pumping. We pump concrete, grout, drill fluid pumps, mixer pumps, hydraulic pumps in nearly every piece of equipment. We have dewatering pumps, water supply pumps, compressors, vacuum pumps, chemical injection pumps. Right, Larry? Larry's shaking his head, oh no. This week we're continuing in some of the basics. And this week I want to talk about pressure. So last week we were talking about unit weights and that kind of thing, unit-specific gravities. But this week we're talking about pressure. And typically, pressure is a measurement of force per unit area. So typical units are like pounds per square inch, PSI, pounds per square foot, PSF. One thing that I can never get my head around is metric units. Pressure can be measured in kilonewtons per square meter or in kilopascals, whatever all that is. Sometimes we measure it in vertical feet of water, which is also something you can really put your head around. Like, say, 12 feet of water or something like that. Another standard is a bar, and we hear that like on the weather. It's, the barometric pressure is, 985 millibars. So you see that 1,000 millibars, that's 1 bar, and that's the atmospheric pressure at sea level, more or less, which is roughly 14.5 psi. So there's actually a pressure out around us. And also, I said approximately 1 atmospheric pressure at sea level. Ben, not really sure why an atmosphere isn't really a bar, but it's slightly different, isn't it? Just to make things complicated. And then sometimes even pumps, like a grout pump, is rated in bars. There can be a 1,000 bar pump, which is a pretty high pressure pump, up to 14,500 psi. Those are usually used for jet grouting, something we don't really do, but it's a high pressure injection of grout in the ground to mix with the soil. So just want to talk about how to think about water or any kind of pressure, but water in this case is the example. I have a pump, show a pump with a water line, and just measuring, just say any kind of, say a glass tube, if it can handle the pressure, coming all the way up. And if you're pumping at 100 psi at the pump at elevation 0, the pressure would be a head pressure of 230.7 feet. So that much of a head of water, column of water. And when talking about a column of water, it doesn't matter whether it's a small glass straw or whether it's a big pipe. Either way, it would push it to the same height. So that's something sometimes a little hard to get your head around. And then if the pipe goes uphill, say it goes up 100 feet, it still has the same pressure head at 230. The PSI just dropped. And if it goes back down, it'll continue at that same pressure head for the whole system. Now this is a static. So if we had a valve in there and we started turning the valve, things would change, and depending on where the pumps were and the back feeds and everything. So from there it gets more complicated. So what I thought I'd do next week is to talk about, when we do a thrust block, where those forces come from and how you could figure out what those forces might be for, say, a 100 psi pipe. So we'll talk about that next week. Kind of relates to a lot of what we do. Is that one thing that we should always do, and I didn't do, I put this illustration together fairly quick a couple nights ago, gave it to Ray to do on the CAD. I didn't have anyone check it. I should have given it to Brendan or Ben or somebody. I was in a hurry. It was late. I got it. And then in the middle of the night last night, I'm like, oh, I wonder if that number's right. So the lesson there is just, it's a good idea to have people check everything before you submit it and put it out in front of a big audience. But it happened to be right, so I'm good. So just some update for different Labor Day, for our Labor Day, different project updates. And just to congratulate our whole workforce, it is Labor Day after all, for the quality work we've done so far in 2015. And just some pictures that seem pretty cool. This one is from Rygate. They're installing a strut. We got 4 guys, one in each man lift, or a pair in each man lift on each side. Each of them are burning welding rod right there. So pretty cool. And this strut is supporting the excavation. The excavation down there, it's around 60 some odd feet deep. See a man way down there. The picture's taken from up on the bridge. There's the railroad bridge.
How long was that?
It's like 55 feet total. 30-inch diameter. So that was Rygate. This is Vale Drive and Essex Junction, where the guys were paving yesterday. And this is the sand plains on the Colchester side last week, where we poked out of the ground with the big drill. And there's all the pipe strings there ready for us to pull in. And here's sand plains again, but on Gauthier Drive. This is the paving last week, night paving in Barrie, or Berlin. Berlin, the sign says Barrie. It's on 302 or 62. Isn't quite to 302, as if you're getting to 302. Drop down the hill to 302. Yeah, that's pretty cool. These balloons just give off a great glow of light, and it's not so overpowering as the big 1,000-watt lamps on the light lamp. And this is East Road in Colchester, where we reinforced a failing culvert. That's a steel plate with grout or concrete backfill behind it, where it was damaged. It had failed, a longitudinal failure right through the culvert, corrugated metal culvert. And I have another picture of Rygate here. Oops, not rolling. There we go. Yep, that's a big pour. Ronnie, how high is that pour?
27 feet.
27 feet. They're pumping it. The pumper hose is there. They just finished doing a lift, and then they're moving over to another. This is on the inlet area for a wing wall at the culvert. And this is the Green Mountain Power White River Junction substation on one of the foggy mornings, obviously. It's right there in the Connecticut River Valley, essentially, so it gets that fog. So, okay, Matt.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, good morning. So I just want to take the time. We've had some little near misses and little small incident reports and stuff like that rolling in through. A lot of them lately have been just either lack of spotting or we've been not spotting correctly with miscommunication. These next 3 months, 3 to 4 months for us are very important months. Historically speaking, in the past, these end of summer into fall into early winter historically have been kind of our higher accident season. You know, we've had a pretty good season safety wise so far this season, so we really want to make sure we finish the year strong. I wanted to start this kind of as beginning of September to kind of talk about that and talk about some of the things that we need to kind of improve on, and to get everybody focused on finishing the job. You know, at this time of year, we're trying to finish work up, but also let's finish the safety year strong, and that's these next 4 months. Spotter's responsibility. All right, I have some pictures here. You can see some really good stuff that we're doing. You know, backing. We've had a lot of little backing accidents, especially here in the yard, whatever. When you see a coworker backing and there's no spotter or anyone, go out and help that person. Help that person back that truck, trailer combination, whatever it is. Make sure that you can always see the operator. As you can see, the individual is looking in the right rear mirror, and he's able to see the driver backing the person up, putting that truck right where it needs to be, away from any danger or harm. Having a lot of incidents with backing trailers, jackknifing things. So let's use spotters. Let's not be in such a rush. This is just important as our daily planning of our tailboard that we do for a big type of project that we're doing. It's a lot of these little activities that we're doing that are getting us in trouble and damaging our equipment. You can see here is another good scenario when we got a good two-man team here. They're guiding some rail in. Again, your hand signals should be somewhat uniform or what you're going to. So like during the tailboard, let everybody know what you're going to use for your. Everybody kind of has been working together for a long period of time now, so they understand each other's language. But if you have a new guy, I know we've hired a lot of new guys in the last 2 months. You know, communicate with them about what type of hand signals we should be using on site. You know, not all crews have walkie-talkies all the time, so always use spotters. Whenever we're trying to put ourselves in tight quarters. We have a lot of really tight jobs right now. Rygate, CCTA. Anytime we're working on the rail or in the roadway, you know, our job sites are very confined, so that there's a higher potential for personal injury or utility damage or property damage. So use spotters, making sure that everybody has someone with them. We're working in teams of 2. We're not working by ourselves, and we can do this work safely without getting anybody hurt or damaging any equipment. You can see here working tight to buildings, you know, guiding that. You know, this is Joe Prouse, and I don't remember who his operator was here, but he's standing himself on the cab side where he has direct eye contact with the operator. That's what we want. We always want to be able to see. They can see us, you can see them. You know that when you can make eye-to-eye contact with somebody, then you know that you're on the same page. I see all the time guys looking down in a trench and doing a bunch of hand signals, and they're positioning themselves in the wrong position because the operator can't see them because either the arm's in the way, the bucket's in the way. So put yourself in good, clear sight. So one person should be directing the operator, crane operator, dozer operator, whatever it is. It should be one person, not 4 or 5 people. You know, make a point of contact during the tailboard each morning that say, hey, you know, Gene, today you're going to be the spotter for this operation that we're going to do. So we're all on the same page, and we're all going to help each other out so everybody goes home safe and sound and we don't damage our equipment. You can see here, this is This is another situation where we got crane going in, an excavator in a deep sheeting operation. This was at St. Mike's last year. Very difficult when you don't have clear eyesight to what you're trying to do. Spotters, we need to have them. Okay, we need to have them, and they need to be on the same page. So it's a very important to our day-to-day operation that everybody understands the responsibility of the spotter is to actually guide, almost be an operator, to guide them into these tight quarters so nothing happens, so we can perform the work safely and we don't have any damage to our equipment or damage to any person. So it's a very, very important responsibility to have spotters, and spotters shouldn't be on their cell phones. They should not be texting. They should be readily alert at all times and paying attention, because we do a lot of very dangerous things day in and day out here, and we need to make sure that we're all bringing our A game to work, and these operators are relying on the spotters, so it's a very important operation, like I've been saying. Hand signals should be somewhat uniform. We don't have to use the crane signals for like excavation operators, but everyone needs to be on the same page. And then the operators, again, if you don't feel comfortable, stop. Stop, address it, and let's get on the same page. So again, at the same time, the operator is still kind of controlling that situation, but they should stop if they feel like they're getting too close. And that's one thing that we're also seeing a little bit is everybody's safety zone or clearance zone. Everybody's getting a little too close without having a spotter. So if you're backing up and you feel like you're a little close, stop, get out, address the situation, saying, okay, hey, I'm too close. I need a spotter before I continue to back up or to operate a piece of equipment in tight quarters. We're doing a fair amount of property damage lately, and I want to make sure that we really address spotters and making that zone, that kind of safety zone clearance area, that we're not getting too close with all of our equipment. And like I said before, let's take, hopefully everybody's taking this week off. Hopefully we don't have any crews working on Saturday. Let's refresh, let's refocus. Let's have a good end of our construction year and safety year moving forward. I think it's important.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Thanks, Matt. Okay, enjoy the holiday weekend, everybody.
Rodney.
Have a good day. Right there. That was 3 days that we had. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had a lot of.